Well, Sir Keir Starmer has unveiled his party's plan to tackle the Channel crossings crisis, pledging to set up special fast-track Nightingale courts to tackle the asylum backlog applications and attempting to negotiate a deal with the EU in return for smashing the smuggling gangs. It comes as the new GBNews People's poll found that 68% of Conservatives and 67% of Leave voters think that immigration has made crime worse, as do nearly half of all voters, fuelling concerns about Britain's migration troubles. I'm going to be having a chat now, basically, about whether or not Keir Starmer has put his foot in it and has he cost himself the next election as a result of his latest comments on migration and asylum seekers, etc. With me to debate this is Henry Bolton, OBE, no less, international security and border control expert, and you got a little sneak peek of him a couple of moments ago. It's Matthew Staddard, their political commentator. Great stuff, chaps. Right, OK, look, Henry, do you think that Keir Starmer may well have put his foot in it here, cost himself the next election by his comments in relation to what he'd quite like to do with the EU and a quota system for asylum seekers?
Well, I'm not sure he's lost the election with this, Patrick, because I think the election is being lost by the Conservatives rather than being won by Labour. But with regards to this plan that he's got, he's not thought this through. The people around him have not thought this through. The reality is that the EU's immigration and asylum policy is already struggling in terms of the distribution of asylum seekers within the European Union, let alone having sort of us in the mix. Yeah. If we were to take up the proportion, or if you like, an equal proportion of the asylum seekers that the European Union receives, then we get anything between 100,000 and 180,000, probably somewhere in the middle. Difficult to say. Now, you can take away from that, probably, a large number or large proportion of the small boat crossings. But the essential point here is that we would end up taking more. The other thing is that what's he expect to get in return? Because he's going to get nothing in return. There is nothing that the European Union has got to offer him. What he will do is he would present this in two ways. He would say, look, people wanted a safe route. Here's a safe route. People wanted the boats to be reduced. I've reduced the boats. Yeah. Right. OK, all well and good. But we are going to receive more asylum seekers, and more immigration.
It's the cost to the taxpayer. It's the cost to the taxpayer. Look, Henry, I'll come back to you. Correct. Matthew, I'll bring you in here. The way I look at it is this. If he just kept his mouth shut about immigration, he was home and hosed, and then now he's piped up, and everyone's gone, hang on a minute, you want to drag us back into the European Union, we're going to have more asylum seekers, it's Tony Blair 2.0, the red wall's gone. I mean, what's he doing?
So, I mean, look, the reason Starmer has been as cautious as he has been, that has led to people like me saying we need a bit more from you, is precisely as you say, because he doesn't want to risk putting his foot in it, but he also doesn't want to come under unfair attack from the right-wing attack dogs. Now, this hasn't been blanketly covered even in the right-wing media. Yes, I think it's been on the front page of the Mail. A lot of the noise and fury about this is being fuelled from the Conservatives on social media and some right-wing commentators. I think actually what he's doing is being a bit grown up about this. The problem, the crisis of these boats coming across the sea, and it's not good for us, but it's also not good for the people who are risking their lives. This is something that has grown up under this Conservative administration. Let us not forget that. They haven't gotten a grip on it. They've had flagship sensationalist policies like Rwanda. They ain't going to work. So what is Starmer doing? First and foremost, he's doing what I've been calling on the government to be doing for months, and that's get very, very serious on the gangs. These people are very bad people, and what he's doing in Europe at the moment, being a grown-up, meeting Macron next week, which I think is a straw in the wind, suggesting that other European leaders think that Labour is going to win. What he's doing is saying we need to get a grip on these criminal gangs and crack down properly.
I understand that, and I think everybody does want to get to grips with these human trafficking gangs. That said, rejoining Europol, which is presumably an organisation that is already trying and failing to crack down on these human trafficking gangs, I'm not sure what would happen there. We'll have to wait and see. Henry, can I ask you about the actual numbers? Now, if people manage to get to Italy, islands like Lampedusa, where they've had about 8,000 or so in the last couple of days, If they want to get through to Britain, as it currently stands, they probably have to find another few £1,000 to pay to human traffickers to get them through Europe, get them to the Channel, and then get across that Channel and into Britain, which is, in some cases, prohibitively expensive to people. But now, if we knew that Britain was taking a quota, all they would have to do is find the money to get to Lampedusa, which clearly thousands of them can do. Is this going to result in more illegal immigration?
I think it is, because they're not going to be having to pay traffickers or people smugglers for small boats. We're going to be providing the transport for them. And that's got to be an encouragement. It's got to induce more. Now, I agree entirely with what Matthew's saying and Keir Starmer about going after the people smugglers themselves. I mean, they're a crucial element to all of this. But what's forgotten is that we were highly successfully hunting down people smuggling networks, not just disrupting them, but totally dismantling them up until the time Tony Blair pulled all the funding for it in 2006. Now, the UK was leading an international effort. We even had Australians and New Zealanders and Canadians helping us with that effort in the European region, in North Africa, in the Southern Balkans and so on. Tony Blair pulled the plug on that. Okay. Keir Starmer, the Home Office and the present government have forgotten all of that. We need to be forward-leaning and go hunting these people. Because as you rightly say, and I think you've been saying consistently, we've got a problem here now because this is sending the wrong signals to economic migrants saying that if this agreement goes ahead, Europe and the UK are open. We're going to help you.
All right, look, no, I am not against sticking it to Tony Blair every now and again, as regular viewers on this show will know. The problem with doing that at the moment is that the Tories have been in power for 13 years, and therefore, if you say, well, Tony Blair pulled the plug on it, well, they've had 13 years to fix it, and they haven't done that. So
I agree.
That is the issue, right? But, Matthew, on this, you alluded to something earlier on about Keir Starmer, where you said he's been a bit quiet and people are calling him to do more. Do you think that is because if he revealed his real politics, people wouldn't want to vote for that because they realise he actually would be a bit like Blair?
No, were he to be a bit more like Blair, we might be seeing something like a 1997 landslide, because Blair had charisma, and Starmer, whether you broadly support Labour or not, does not seem to have much charisma. So it'd be a good thing in that sense if he were a bit more like Blair. I just want to address this issue, this number that has been plucked, it seems, from absolutely nowhere, the 100,000. The right-wing, some of the right-wing press, some of the right-wing commentators, the Tories themselves are suggesting that Starmer wants to open the door to 100,000 illegal migrants or asylum seekers, whatever people decide to call them, a year. This is nonsense. It is fantasy. Starmer has never said that. There's no suggestion it would be 100,000.
Well, he's not said that.
No, but if he does a deal, Patrick, if he does do a deal, in order to stop these dangerous crossings, in order to stop this mess, in order to stop having to put people up in hotels at £6 million a day for us, if in order to do that, part of it, as well as smashing the gangs, and he says he'll be ruthless with them, he says he'll be, and these are his words, twice as ruthless as the gangs themselves. If in order to do that we have to accept some people, then that's no bad thing. That's grown-up politics.
But the number is going to be undoubtedly going to be larger than now. Why should the European Union come up with some agreement to stop the boats when we're going to take less than we are now? It's not going to happen. And even EU diplomats are now sort of laughing at this. No, I mean, I held the civilian portfolio for border management for the European Union for 3 years, external of the European Union's own borders. And I can tell you that this is not going to happen. If Keir Starmer really believes that it's going to happen, then he's not competent to govern. If he's lying to us, which is the other alternative, he's still not competent.
I think he might have made a mistake.
But Patrick, he's exploring it. There's no sense in which this is definitely going to happen. He's in opposition. He's not. The Tories haven't got a grip on this. He's trying to get a grip on it. If it proves unworkable, he won't do it. The most important thing, by the way, is going to speed up the system by which claims are processed. And if he can do that, that's going to save us billions.
Well, it will, unless it is just, OK, come on, let Nini come, lads, let's just wave it all through and reduce the backlog. But we'll have to wait and see. Both of you, right, we could do this all day, and in many ways I wish that we did, but alas, there's other news. Henry Bolton there, OBE, International Security and Border Control Expert, and Matthew Stadler as well, political commentator. Back up to watch the cricket now, aren't you? Lucky for you.